Hey everyone, it's Alex from Anime Convention Video, and I am here with Christopher Smith. He's an incredibly talented voice actor whose work includes Fire Emblem Awakening, Ace Combat, Infamous Second Son, and Dishonored. So, Christopher Smith, thank you so much for being here.
Hello, hello.
I do have a couple questions for you,
Sure.
um, and I would like to ask you. They're 6 questions, they're very short, so.
Bring them on. I hope I brought my answers.
Okay. So, when performing a character, is it more important for you to do it in the way that feels most right to you, or do you think it's more important to echo your Japanese counterpart's performance?
It depends. It depends on what the director and the client want. A lot of times, when it comes down to the casting for a particular character, the client and the director will lean toward who sounds the most like the Japanese counterpart. And when it comes down to performance, it's a little bit different because I can't mimic the Japanese performance. A lot of times we will refer back to it and say, oh, look, he's angrier here, he's louder here, he's faster here. And so we need to get that in. But for the most part, no, they hire me because I bring something to a character that they like, and it also happens to be close to the original Japanese.
Okay, cool. Okay, question number 2. What do you personally think of the vicious hatred, expressed by certain fans for any kind of English dubbing?
Well, people like what they like, and a lot of people are purists, and they watch the Japanese animation, and that's what they're used to. And so then they watch the English dub, and the English dub is not what they're used to, and so they're going to default back to what it is that they were used to and that they originally liked. I think that English dubbing suffers from a few performance constraints. And that's that, for one thing, we're in the booth alone. And most of us don't speak Japanese. I certainly don't speak Japanese. So when I'm shown a clip, I can't really tell what the context of a scene is. If I'm interacting with a character, I don't know what that character has just said unless the English dubbed actor has come in ahead of me, dubbed that character, and oh, now I can hear what you're saying to me and I know what my reaction will be. That being said, we don't have the benefit of context because of the language barrier or timing. We can't give it our own personal timing, which gives it a very, very natural flow. These are two things that you really need to give a seriously good performance. And by timing, I mean that we have to fit our dialogue, our English dialogue, into the pre-existing lip flaps that were done for the Japanese character. We're very, very big on matching flaps in the English dub community. And so that tends to be the first priority. It's got to start when it starts, end when it ends, and hit all the buttons in between. And so when we're trying to do that, which is a very technical skill, it's kind of hard to bring in the nuances and the subtleties that a character might require. Once you've done this for years, you figure out a way to sort of make it work. And you've got people like, J. Michael Tatum, who's just incredible. He's wonderful at what he does. He does the technical, and he gives wonderfully nuanced performances. And that's sort of what we all aspire to do. I've been doing this for years, and I like to think that I've struck a balance between the technical and the artistic. I'm able to give a performance within the constraints of the lip flaps. That being said, when people go in and they sit down and they watch an English dub and they think, wow, that guy doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about, or that he's really present in the scene, it's because we're not. And it's because of those constraints. We go in and we don't get to sit down with the material ahead of time to really absorb it. It's all taken care of in that block of time that we spend in the booth. And we watch something once, maybe twice if we ask, but because of the timing and the time constraints, we have to bang things out in a certain amount of time. We're limited to how prepared we can be, and it usually comes down to just a couple of minutes. So anyway, that being my long-winded answer to your very straightforward question, I think it just comes down to what people are used to and what they think sounds good in terms of English performances.
Awesome. Okay, question number 3. Are you an anime fan yourself? And if so, which ones that you have now worked in appeal to you the most?
I grew up as an anime fan. In fact, old school anime is what got me into doing voiceover. I grew up watching Astro Boy and Speed Racer, and my all-time favorite was Kimba the White Lion.
I don't know that one.
Ah, well, that's way before your time. When I was a little kid, I would watch reruns of Kimba the White Lion, and I wanted to be Kimba the White Lion. I didn't want to be the voice of Kimba the White Lion. I wanted to be Kimba the White Lion. I wanted to die, be reincarnated, and come back as Kimba the White Lion. I had no idea how animation worked, but I obviously had a full working knowledge of reincarnation when I was 6. But that's what I wanted, and achievement unlocked, because I am actually now Kimba the White Lion.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, I know. You didn't know that. It's not on my resume. But
That's fun.
as far as the new anime that I work on, love Gurren Lagann. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
It's probably, sorry all you other animes that I've worked on, it's probably my favorite. Keaton is just, he's a badass, spoiler alert, you know, he gets the girl and he saves the universe and goes out in a blaze of glory.
Could you possibly do a voice for Kitan?
Oh God, what did he sound like?
I cannot remember.
I gotta think back. That was a few years ago. So that's the power of the spiral. Not bad. Not bad at all.
That's incredible. That was actually one of the few animes that actually made me really want to get into voice acting.
Oh yeah?
I never did get into voice acting, but I did definitely study up.
Good for
because
you.
of that.
It's a great field, and it is the best time in any time that I can think of to be a voice actor, because there is so much product out there being produced. There's so much stuff coming over from Japan. There's so much original content being produced in this country. Everybody's got a website that needs to be narrated.
Yeah.
There's room for everybody, and I love it. I love it. Funny story about working on Gurren Lagann was that I was originally not brought in to read for Keaton.
Really?
Yeah. Oh God, and I'm trying to. Oh yeah, I remember the name of the character. I was originally brought in to read for Leron.
Oh, okay.
Leron, who sort of sounds like this. Yes.
I remember Leron.
And so they handed me the sides because at that time in my career, I was just starting to do a lot of different titles, and I was getting a little bit pigeonholed. I would play either the Emperor or the gay guy. Sometimes the gay Emperor. And so this was at Bang Zoom, and they brought me in, and that's where mostly I did the gay Emperors. And they said, oh, well, let's get Chris and have him read for Leron. So they brought me in, and I went in the first time with the copy and the director, who I absolutely adore. And forgive me, I'm going to try and do an impression of her voice, and I mean no disrespect by this at all. It's just so much funnier when you imagine this beautiful little Japanese woman saying these things. And she would be like, all right, Chris, he's not very masculine. So not masculine, you be not masculine. So I did the read, and she's like, Chris, he's more feminine. He said, you be more feminine. Okay. So I tried it a third time, and then I hear, he's more gay. And like, okay, I did it again. I guess I could not be gay enough, despite my all the other characters that I'd done. So it wound up going to Steve Bloom, and Steve Bloom is incredible.
Oh,
Steve Bloom is who we all aspire to be when we grow up, because he is amazing and a dear friend. And I got to be Keaton. And my original voice choice for Keaton was, I was a huge fan of Lost at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so when Leron didn't work out, they said, what do you try for this? And being a big Lost fan, I thought, oh, well, he's kind of a wise ass. He's kind of a Sawyer type. And so I threw in a little twang, and they're like, no, that doesn't work. So we ultimately wound up with what Keaton sounds like now. And I'm very glad. So much fun. That was one of the few times that we got to the climax of the show, and I actually went, no! Because I didn't know what happened. I didn't watch the Japanese ahead of time, and so we got to that episode, and I was just as shocked as everybody else. I got all choked up, and
No.
Yeah, I was really emotionally invested in that project and in that character, and that doesn't happen with everybody. It doesn't happen with all the characters that I do. So, anyway.
That actually makes me wonder. I know that both Gainax, the creators of Gurren Lagann, teamed up with another studio called Trigger Entertainment, and they created an anime that is currently being dubbed called Kill la Kill.
I know of it. I am not in it. Sorry to say.
Oh, but I was curious. Like, do you think like if you had that chance, would you bring that like same amount of passion that you have for Gurren Lagann into Kill la Kill?
It could
Or
be
into any anime in general.
It totally depends on how a particular project, how I connect with the project. I loved working on Vampire Knight, but I did not have the connection with it like I did with Gurren Lagann. It came in a different way. And again, I love the show, loved working with the people that I worked with, but it just didn't affect me as much as Gurren Lagann did, and I can't say why. Probably because at that time, Keaton is a badass sort of anti-hero. And I'd been playing, besides, emperors and gay guys, I'd been playing bad guys. Playing a lot of bad guys. And Keaton was sort of my first foray into playing heroes. And I really liked it. I really, really liked it. So, again, it would depend on the project, it would depend on the character. But I like to think so. I like to think so because I have a lot of fun. It's the best job in the world. Second best job. Being my son's dad is the best job in the world.
Oh.
But there's only room for one there, and I love that. And my son's a huge gaming fan, so being the dad who works in games kind of saves me from dorky dad status.
That's incredible. So, are there any humorous incidents that occurred in the course of your career that you would like to share?
Oh, geez.
I was talking with Kyle Ebert, or
Ebert.
Ebert. Yeah, I always have problems saying
That's
his last
okay.
name. He told me it's Hebert, the best way to put it. He was talking about something called a voice bomb, where it's you kind of mess up a line on purpose to mess with the next guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah, I remember. Oh, what was the show we were working on? It was Gurren. It was Gurren, yeah.
Wow.
And Tony Oliver was having me drop all of these voice bombs for Johnny Bosch. And the problem is they're alone in the studio when they hear them, and we don't know. We can't see their reaction, so we can't laugh and point at them. But yes, that does happen. It does happen.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. It is. It's great. I can't think of humorous anecdotes when it comes to anime games. Yeah, I can think of some fun stuff that happened during games.
Oh wow.
But
Okay, so final question: if there is something that you could change about the industry, what would that be?
I would like to not see it. I would not like to, or I would like to not see so many production companies go under. But that's just a question of economics. It does hurt companies when people pirate the stuff. But I mean, I'm not going to be a finger wagger and say, "Don't do this at home, kids." It's just what happens. It's the economy, and so I would wish that things were different in that regard, because I would like to see more companies bringing more product over and not going belly up, because that makes me sad. When companies go under that I've worked for, and people that I've known suddenly don't have jobs, and the voice talent doesn't get to work for them anymore, and it's like, well, where's so and so? Why aren't they sitting in on the session? And it's like, oh, well, they lost their job because the company went under. And it makes me sad. So that is what I would change. But other than that, it's a great industry. Like I said, it's the best time to be in voiceover, because there's so much product out there. And one thing that people don't realize about anime is that we do it pretty much for the love of it, because it doesn't pay all that well, unless you're in Texas, and unless you are a Patrick Seitz or a Mike McFarlane or a J. Michael Tatum, who are very prolific in their anime and also brilliant in their anime. But also Mike McFarlane directs. He's a wonderful, wonderful director too. God, he directed me on One Piece. And we just had the best time. I went back and forth to Texas about every 5 weeks for about a year. doing the character of Spondum, the bad guy, and just had the most wonderful time. But Mike needs to direct. Patrick writes, and J. Michael Tatum writes as well. So they have to supplement their income because anime is sort of he's just the red-haired stepchild of the voiceover industry. And I mean no disrespect by that. It's just that it doesn't pay as well. You can't make a living. Certainly in Los Angeles, you can't make a living because we have, let's see, Bleach just wrapped. So I won't be working on that anymore. Now we've just got Naruto and Kill La Kill and Sword Art Online. There's not a whole lot.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for being here. If
Sure.
you have any Facebook, or if you have Facebook, Twitter,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure they would love to know what it is.
Christopher Smith, voice actor, is pretty easy to find on Facebook, and on Twitter I am at GetMeSmith, which is also pretty easy to find. Now you said that you're a big indie game.
Yes,
Indie game
I'm
fan. What are some of the titles that you like?
I look for very artistic, very unique titles. Like one of them is a game by Jonathan Blow called Braid, where it's this whole game about you. It's believed that you are the creator of the atom bomb, and you start off in the city that's engulfed in flames. And as you run, you go through like this whole history of here's what you went through and how you've destroyed your family because of this, and you can go backwards. Like when you go back, it plays the music backwards, and the snow goes up. When you go forward, it goes down.
Oh wow, that's got to be a great image.
So-
So you actually play as Oppenheimer?
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
Another game I really enjoy is it's a huge hit. It's called Limbo.
I love Limbo.
Yes,
Oh
yeah.
my god, it's great. It's the creepiest game ever.
And it doesn't teach you anything, but you learn. They're actually making another game. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's a game called Inside.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Inside is basically it was shown at E3 this year, and from what I can tell, everyone is like this giant consumer to a market, and you're a small child, and you see all these people that actively walk like zombies, and something is going on, and people are watching over you. It's basically Big Brother's watching over you. I want to say the book is 1984. Yes, by
Orwell.
Yeah, it's exactly like that from the looks of it. And then the third game I love is by a company called Supergiant Games, and they made two major hits called Bastion, which is fantastic, and a game called Transistor.
Oh, right, Transistor we were just talking about.
And I feel like those are games I'm really interested to, not because, or I love them because of their story, and more importantly, I love them because of their art style, because I like being able to stop, to take a photo of something, and then be able to like have that as my background and be like, no, that's part of the game itself. Because for most games, it's always like super gritty. Here I am with a full detailed beard and a gun in the jungle. It's like, I'm not attracted to that. I'm attracted to more of like here is a child wandering through, trying to become an adult, carrying a sword and her hair is flowing, like the game Child of Light, which is all this, it's a beautiful fairy tale, and the entire thing is written in rhymes.
Oh, wow. All
And
right.
there's a jester in the game who, he doesn't know how to rhyme. So he'll kind of like say a line and then kind of stop, and then someone will continue it for him so it goes through.
Oh,
And
wow.
That's basically his goal. But those are the games I'm kind of attracted to. How about you? What kind of games do you enjoy?
I just got brought into the cast for Skullgirls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I will be joining them. I'm not sure when
I'm
I'm
a
recording,
huge fan of Skullgirls.
but I will be playing the character of Albus.
I do not know an Albus.
Me and Sean Schimmel are coming in as Albus, and I can't remember Sean's character. But it's DLC, it's the Eliza DLC.
Oh,
And I don't know
okay.
who's playing Eliza, but all I know is I'm playing Albus, and so I'm really looking forward to that.
Very excited for that.
The games that I play tend to be, I play the same things over and over again. I'm such a creature of habit. I still play Nazi zombies, and I love it. I love it. I am a big,
Sniper
I'm a big
Elite,
first-person shooter
Wolfenstein.
because I can play it and get a nice adrenaline rush for 25 minutes and then go back to whatever it is that I need to get done. My son is a huge gamer, and so it's very interesting to be in the other room while he's playing Skyrim. And he's like, "Dad, I found you." And I'll come out, and he's like, "Yeah, that's me." Or, "Dad, I found Keith Silverstein. Dad, I found Cindy Robinson." Because these are all dear close friends of ours. Yeah. And so it's really, really fun and funny to hear them in a game. And that's the thing too. One question people ask is like, well, do you guys hang out, when you're not working and stuff? And it's like, yes, we actually do. We're really, really good friends. It's a very small community. It's populated by just the most wonderful, wonderful people. And we go to each other's kids' birthday parties, and we go to baseball games, and yeah, it's a very, very close, tight-knit community. So when he plays games and my voice pops up, or somebody else's voice, Matt Mercer's voice pops up, then that's kind of a big thrill for me. Although my son has gotten to the point where he doesn't always recognize, and I'll go, oh, hey, that's Patrick Seitz, and he's like, don't tell me that, because now I can only see Patrick. I can't see this character, and so I can.
I feel like that would break immersion for me so much.
It probably does for him as well. But it's a force of habit for me. It's like, oh, that's Matt Mercer or whatever. So I try not to do it. I try to get better at it. But
it's fine.
But I do exclaim. And there are a lot of games. He was playing Elder Scrolls Online for a while. And the same people. I'm all over that. I think I'm about 12 different roles.
I see that you played. Oh goodness, these are going to be challenging for me to say. You've played the Red Guard, the Wraith, Razumdar.
Razumdar is probably my main character. I am back to playing Molag Bal. They had replaced me with Malcolm McDowell for a while. And he still gets credit on it. But the last time I went in to record, there was some Molag Bal lines. And I picked up where he left off. But Razumdar is probably my biggest character. He's a Khajiit. And he's the Khajiit with a mohawk, and he's damn handsome. Just damn handsome, and very, very charming. And he's getting a lot of love, a lot of internet love for old Raz, which I really like. And it's nice. It's nice. I really like it when characters that I do appeal to people. It's kind of nice too, because I spend so much time voicing iconic characters that already exist. I do the Joker a lot. For the Lego franchise and some other things. And, I did get to be Batman, I did get to be Superman, I did get to be Green Lantern. But doing a character like Razumdar, which is totally just my creation, it's nice because I don't watch it and go, oh, his voice doesn't sound right. Which is what happens when I watch my work as Superman. I'm like, that's not Superman, that's a fan dub. But no, Razumdar is me, and that's exactly what Razumdar is supposed to sound like.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being able to do this interview.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'm very happy that we were able to get you here.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to pimp a couple of extra things before we go. The first one is the handheld game that people are playing on their smartphones by Google. It's called Ingress. And it's a little bit like Foursquare meets Capture the Flag with a lot of background story and mythology. And I play one of the main characters in that.
Do you really?
Hank Johnson.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that is a game that's sort of sweeping the world. We've got, I would imagine, between 4 and 5 million players right now.
That is insane.
And it is active constantly. And so I wanted to highly recommend that for people out there who are looking for a different kind of gaming experience, because you will not sit at home and play this. You have to get out into the world. And I really, really like what it is they do. So that's Ingress by Google. It's free to play, and there are no ads. So look it up. Second thing is the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars movie crossover. It's coming out July 26th. I'm in it, even though I can't say who I play. God, I wish I could, because it's really badass. But you're going to want to set your TiVo for July 26th, Disney Channel and Disney XD, the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars movie.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
As always, thank you guys for watching this. This is Anime Convention Video. My name is Alex. We will see you next time.